Hello. This feels really weird to do because I haven't been filming videos in like 3 or 4 months now, and to sit back in front of the camera and do this all over again feels a little bit bizarre, so just bear with me if I'm acting or sounding a little bit off because I've kind of forgotten how to do this. I feel like I need to put my hair up, it's gonna irritate me. So as many of you guys may have noticed, I was absent from YouTube for a good few months. The reason being basically because I found that I wasn't feeling very motivated to create videos, to sit down, to edit. It kind of became a chore to me, which I always said I didn't want from my YouTube channel. I never want to be uploading videos just for the sake of uploading it. I really want to be liking the content that I'm putting out. I don't want to be sat there editing and being like, oh, this is so boring. Like, I don't know, I feel like it just got to that stage and I just needed a break, and to be honest with you, I do not regret it one bit. The reason I'm sat back down today is basically just to see how I feel about sitting back down and doing YouTube videos again. It's kind of like a test run for me. So I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone for being patient in the last few months. I thought at first that no one would even realize that I've been absent from YouTube, no one would even pick up on it, but to be honest with you, I have had so many comments and messages from people saying, please come back to YouTube, we miss your videos, etc, etc, which is a really lovely feeling to know that people noticed and to know that people care enough and like my videos enough to want me to come back. So that's kind of what I'm gonna test run today. I do want to be straight up and honest with you in saying that I don't know where my channel is going to go in terms of uploading regularly, because obviously for the year I was doing YouTube very consistently. I was uploading like once a week, sometimes even twice a week, and for me that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is kind of a lot of work to sit down to edit a video and whatnot, especially if you're not 100% in the mindset that you want to be doing it. So if I do come back to YouTube to do more videos and stuff like that, I can't promise you that they're going to be really regular. They may just be a little bit here, there and everywhere, a bit all over the place, but I will be keeping you guys updated on how I feel about it and stuff on my Instagram stories. But yes, that is enough talking. I'm sure you guys are bored of listening to me at this point already. So I'm going to jump right in with the video and say that today I'm going to go ahead and do a tutorial using the brand new Anastasia Beverly Hills and Amrezy palette. So this is the gorgeous palette right here. It is a beautiful pink sort of Barbie glittery packaging. It's absolutely stunning. It's got pure glitter all over the palette, and I just think this is a very Amrezy vibe. The palette also came with this beautiful handheld mirror which also says Amrezy on it. So I'm just going to open her up and show you guys the colours inside. As I show you this, I'm sure you've probably already seen pictures online and other people's reviews and stuff like that, but to be honest with you, I do think it is a really beautiful palette, but I'm going to be completely honest and say that I feel like it's kind of a mashup of their existing palettes. When you break it down, you can kind of see the different palettes in it. So from this section here across, obviously you've got like the browns, then the black, then the dark brown, and some of the bronzy shades up here too. This sort of part of the palette really reminds me of the Soft Glam palette, which I'm very familiar with because that's actually my favorite Anastasia palette I own. Then from Semza here, which is a beautiful pink shade, and across over this way a little bit, this is a very modern Renaissance vibe. So as you can see, you've got the kind of warmer orangey brown tones and then the pinks and some of the pinky shades up here too. And then I feel like across here in the middle section at the top, all of these beautiful shimmer shades. This is very Riviera. So I don't know how you guys feel about that. That may just be me and my imagination, but I do feel like it is very mash-up-y of some of their existing palettes. But nonetheless, I think the palette works really nice together and I think it's really pretty. So the Amrezy palette is actually slightly larger than all of the other Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. This is the Riviera one just for comparison, and as you can see, the Amrezy one is slightly longer. The reason being is because it's actually got 2 more shades than the other palettes do. So this one has got 16 shades in total, whereas the Riviera and all of the other ABH palettes in this sort of style have only 14 shades. Would it even be one of my videos if I had an idea already of what I'm going to do? Because I absolutely have no idea. I think I'm just going to have to start doing something and it will always come to me in the end. First things first, before I even start with my eyes, I'm just going to quickly do my brows. Recently I've not really been doing a lot to my brows at all, and by at all I literally mean I've been brushing them through with some brow gel and then just carving underneath them to give them some shape. I've not really been bothering about like filling them in. I'm just taking the ABH clear brow gel. This is one of my favourite brow gels I've ever tried, and I'm just running it through my brows and pushing all the hairs up and then softening the tops. Now I'm just going to go ahead with the Plouise base in the shade Rumour 1 and just carve underneath my brows and then also prime my lids with that whilst I'm there. Okay, I'm really unsure of what colours and what sort of style I want to go for, so I think I'm going to try out the darker shades in the palette down in this corner, like the blacks and the browns. I did use this shade yesterday, so I'm kind of trying to avoid that just because I want to use all the other shades that I haven't yet used. I think I'm going to start with the shade BK, which is just the black shade in the palette. If I'm being totally honest, I really don't feel like that black is as pigmented as some of the other blacks in the other Anastasia palettes. I feel like the one in the Soft Glam palette has a lot more initial pigmentation to it. I feel like this is more of sort of a grey black rather than like a really charcoal black. It took a little bit of more working up to get it to the sort of opacity that I wanted, but to be honest with you, especially if you're someone who's a little bit more scared of using black eyeshadows, that's definitely not a bad thing because it means it's a little bit more buildable. Now I'm just going to go in with a Makeup Addiction shader brush and take the shade Yugo, which is the dark brown shade right at the corner of the palette, and just blend out that black line. Again, I really don't feel like that shade is as pigmented as it possibly would be in another palette. I feel like these shades so far are very buildable. I have to keep dipping in my brush to get the pigmentation that I want, but again, like I say, it's not really a bad thing if you are a beginner and you're starting out with darker eyeshadows, but for me, I kind of like it when there's a little bit more initial pigmentation. Now I'm going to dip into the shade 1988, which is, whoa, it already seems way more pigmented than the other two because it's got quite a lot of fallout when I dip my brush into the shade. But this is the shade 1988, which is the sort of middle tone chocolatey brown colour. So far, that shade is definitely the most pigmented I have used in this palette. It went on really nicely, very opaque, which is what I like from a dark brown eyeshadow. And now I'm just going to go ahead and dip into the shade New Yorker, which is one of these sort of lighter brown shades down here. I'm taking that on a tiny little Morphe JH39 brush because I've not got a lot of room left near my brow, so I've got to make sure that the brush is really small and it's not going to spread out too far. At this point, it kind of looks like I've got a massive black eye. I'm just going to hope this is a case of trust the process, because today's not a day that I want to be restarting my makeup when I've already started. So I think we're just going to push through. Definitely not the neatest smoky eye I've done. But good thing we're going to go ahead and distract the blend with a nice cut crease. So let's get doing that then. So before I go ahead and cut the crease, I'm just going to go ahead and take some makeup remover and a Q-tip and just sort of start to carve out the shape where I want the cut crease to go. I just find that this helps to eliminate all of the product that I've already got on the eyelid so that it doesn't look as cakey when you go and put the cut crease on. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the Plouise Basic Brights base in the shade Banging Blue, which is like a royal blue shade, and I'm just going to cut this into a half cut crease shape on my eye. As you can see, I've already kind of mapped out where I want it to go. Now I'm going to take the shade Leo in the palette, which is the bright blue, beautiful sort of metallic shade, and I'm just going to lay that down on top of the blue base I've already applied. Then I'm going to go ahead and work back from the outer edge inwards, just blending those same colours that I've used on my outer edge blend. Now I'm just going to go ahead and take a gel liner to do a line from the inner lash corner just to join up at the outer edge. My favourite one that I've been loving at the moment is actually by a brand called Bronx Colours, and this is their gel liner pot. I just really love the formula of this gel liner. It's a very, very long wearing and it goes on very creamy but then dries down really sort of matte and stays put. So I went to Boots the other day and picked up a couple of new makeup items that I've been wanting to try for a little while. So first of all, I got the Revolution Pore Blur Primer. I don't really know if I actually believe in primers, but I've been trying a fair few and just sort of seeing what I feel of them. And I'm just going to give this one a go to see if it really does what it says on the packet. Okay, so the next thing that I picked up is another Revolution item. I actually got the Conceal and Hydrate foundation. I put this on my story yesterday when I picked it up, and I literally had a 50-50 split of people in my DM saying some people absolutely despise this foundation. They say it's horrible, it's oily, it's shiny, it's this, that and the other. And then the other half of people were saying that they absolutely swear by it and it's their go-to foundation and they love it and the full coverage and whatnot. So I am very, very torn. I don't know what this is going to do for my skin. I got the shade F3, but to be honest with you, I feel like this is not going to be my shade, but I'm going to try and make it work anyway. The one thing that kept popping up in like people's reviews about this foundation was that it's obviously a very oily foundation. I do feel like this is definitely more catered for people with like dry skin, so I'm gonna have to make sure that I do powder it down a fair bit. You guys, if you've been watching me, you probably know I'm not a huge person that's into powdering. I kind of don't really like the dry look, but I am gonna make sure I powder this one just because everyone's been recommending me to. Okay, so far this foundation looks okay on my skin. It's obviously a little bit pale for me and I'm looking a bit ghostly, but hopefully the concealer and contouring and stuff like that can all help us out there. It is showing up a little bit of texture around my cheeks and my nose, but it's nothing significant that foundations don't really normally do. I also have the matching concealer to try. This is the Conceal and Hydrate Radiance Concealer in the shade C2. Now I know this one is going to make me look even paler because it is quite a pale shade, but I only got 2 shades and one of them is in my kit, so this one's going to have to do for now. Okay, so it's not really picking up the colour that I'm seeing in the mirror on camera, but that shade C2 is very, very pink toned. It's kind of really enhanced the pinkness under my eyes and like on my forehead, basically where I've just put that concealer. But other than that, the sort of texture of it seems fine. It's not immediately really, really creasing, but obviously that's something that's probably going to happen over the next few minutes or so rather than straight away. Speaking of powder, I'm going to go in with the Milk Makeup Blur and Set Loose Finishing Powder on a dry beauty blender. This one is really dirty, I do apologise, it is due a clean. And I'm just going to go in, pat that into the powder and then just set my under eyes with that. To contour with, I'm going to go in with this Tarte Park Avenue Princess. I think that's what it's called. Oh, Park Ave Princess is in Park Avenue. It's actually a really pretty contour palette. It's like got 4 contour shades and then 2 sort of setting under the eye sort of shades. But I actually really love this palette. It's the first thing that I've owned from Tarte, and I actually got this in my GlossyBox advent calendar this year or last year at Christmas, and I've been using it since then and I really like it. So far so good from Tarte. For blusher, I'm going to go in with the ABH blush trio in the shade Peachy Love. I just love this palette, and I'm just gonna tap my brush along all 3 shades and apply it to my cheeks. To highlight, I'm gonna show you guys my favorite highlight combination I've been using all the time at the moment, and that is the RachhLoves palette in collaboration with Pixi Beauty. This palette is literally stunning. Like, when you first look at it, it's a bit underwhelming, and I wasn't actually sure if I wanted to keep it at first, but I thought I'd just give it a quick swatch, and the swatches on my fingers, oh my god, I can't even, like, they are just absolutely beautiful, so pigmented. I thought, oh my god, that has to get on my cheeks right now, and I'm so glad I kept it because this is now my new favorite highlighter palette. So I'm just going to dip into the shade Lace and also the shade Clutch down here because I am a bit pale at the moment, so I don't want to go with anything too dark, and I'm just going to apply that to my cheekbones. And on top of that highlighter, just to give it a little bit of extra pop, I'm going to go on top with the Jaclyn Cosmetics loose highlighter powder in the shade Bomb. I absolutely love this stuff. It is probably a shade too dark for me at the moment, but it's still a nice shade and it will still work on my skin tone. It will probably just be a little bit better if I had a bit of a tan. Just coming back in to finish up the under eye, I'm just going to go back in with that same Bang In Blue base from Plouise, and I'm going to take this on my waterline. Then I'm going to go back in with the palette, and I'm going to start with the shade BK, which is the black shade that I started with originally, and I'm just going to run that right under my lower lashes. Then I'm going to go in with a 1988, which was that brown shade, and I'm just going to buff that underneath the black. For my lashes today, I'm going to go ahead and use the Lashes by Lucy collaboration with one of my good friends, Adele. These are such a beautiful lash, especially for nighttime wear. They just go longer on the outer corners, and I just love these lashes. So I'm going to apply these with some glue. Whilst my lash glue is drying down, I'm going to go ahead and start to line my lips. So I'm going to be taking the Morphe lip pencil in the shade Spiffy, which is like a nice brown sort of neutral shade. And on top of that, I'm going to take the Jordana Ticia gloss in the shade Dare to Bear. So you guys, this is my finished look using the brand new ABH and Amrezy collaboration palette. I really hope you guys do like the look that I came up with and enjoyed the video. My overall thought on this palette is that I do think it's a really, really stunning palette. For me personally, it's probably not going to be my go-to palette, only because the shades that I would use the most are probably these ones down here, and my favourite palette being the Soft Glam palette that I know I love and I can rely on. They're very similar to the shades already in the Soft Glam palette, so that's the only reason that I probably won't be reaching for this as much as some other people might, but I do think it's a really nice palette, especially if you are into shimmer shades, because there are more shimmer shades than mattes in this palette. That's it really, so congratulations to Amrezy on this beautiful palette. I just want to say another massive thank you to you guys for being so patient over the last few months. Like I say, I'm not sure how regular I'm going to be uploading on here anymore, so please do make sure you're keeping up with me on my other social medias if you do like my content or you want to see more of me. I'm on TikTok, Instagram and Twitter. I will leave all of my links to those below in the description box. If you did enjoy this video, then please make sure to leave a big thumbs up, leave a comment down in the comment section, and also subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of me. For now, I'm going to leave this video here, so thank you so much again for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!